The Savanna's fastest brain wears spots. It doesn't roar, it calculates. Speed without control is chaos. This cat turns speed into strategy. In the next 10 minutes, watch a cheetah choose a target, hit highway speed, and win the chase before the dust settles. Look closely and you'll see a body built like a living spring. The spine is a bow that loads and unloads with every stride, doubling the distance covered in a single bound. Long light legs reach like spears. Semi-retractable claws act like track spikes for grip. A long tail snaps like a rudder, flicking the hips back on line when the prey jinks. The skull is small to save weight. The nostrils are wide to drink air. Deep in the chest, a big heart and lungs feed a sprint no land animal can match. Those black tear marks under the eyes aren't decoration. They cut glare so the cat can lock onto a moving target in open sun. Hunting begins long before the sprint. At first light, when the heat hasn't thickened the air and bigger rivals are still slow, a cheetah climbs a termite mound and scans. Gazelles, impala, young wildebeest. The cat reads distance, wind and cover, and looks for one animal a step too far from safety. Every stalk is a stop-motion dance. A few steps when heads are down. A freeze when heads pop up. 40 yards is beautiful. 30 is gold. Closer than that and the whole plane explodes too soon. Then the switch flips. From a crouch to a blur, the cheetah throws itself forward and the world shrinks to angles. Prey never runs straight. It cuts. Left, right, back again. The cheetah doesn't just move faster, it recalculates many times a second, snapping the tail to swing the body. Planting claws like anchors, and shifting weight so the head stays almost level, while everything beneath it flexes. In the wild, top speeds hover near 60 miles per hour, but the number matters less than what happens in the turns. Stride length can pass 7 meters. Stride rate ticks around 3 bounds per second. The goal isn't to reel in a blur, it's to make the blur make a mistake. When the moment opens, the cheetah reaches for a hind leg with a hooked dewclaw and trips the target. The fall is the finish line. A quick throat hold closes the air and the sprint ends almost as fast as it began. The cheetah won, but the clock hasn't stopped. Heat builds, lactic acid burns, and vision narrows at the edges. This is the chase tax. For a minute or two, the cat must pant and cool or risk collapse. That's when the neighborhood wakes up. Hyenas drift toward the commotion. Lions investigate. Vultures start circling. The cheetah drags to shade and eats fast. Soft organs first. Small strips it can swallow quickly. Sometimes it keeps the meal. Often it loses it. Speed wins the sprint. Strategy wins the day. Success rates vary. Around a third in some studies, better when a mother is teaching or when a male coalition hunts together. Failure isn't waste. It's practice that keeps the cheetah honest about distance and cover. A sprint that goes too long overheats a cheetah dangerously, so it quits early rather than chase pride into disaster. Restraint today means there's fuel for another try when the light is right. Not every cheetah lives the same script. Females roam widely, alone unless they're raising cubs, threading seasonal paths after migrating herds. Males often form coalitions, usually brothers that never split. 2 or 3 cheetahs can pressure larger prey, take turns testing a herd, and hold a crossroads of game trails with scent marks on posts and mounds. On a ridge at dusk, you'll see them stand shoulder to shoulder, tails curled, scanning like a committee that already knows the vote. Daily life is built around heat and risk. The best hunts begin near dawn or in the soft evening light, when muscles belong to the cat and not to the sun. Midday is for shade, grooming, and slow, careful moves between vantage points. A cheetah can go days without drinking if food is regular. Blood and moisture from a fresh kill cover the bill. But where water is safe, it drinks fast with a head always up, eyes always counting shadows. Listen closely and you'll hear a voice you don't expect. Cheetahs don't roar. Lions and leopards own that hardware. This cat chirps like a bird to call cubs. It purrs deeply when calm. It chatters in a stutter bark when excited or searching. On a quiet evening, a mother's high, carrying chirp cuts the wind like a note of glass. 3 small shapes answer and tumble out of the grass. Cubs are born into danger with smoke-gray mantles that blur their outline. A mother may move them every day, lifting one by the scruff, scanning, listening, setting them down where the grass is just high enough to hide and just low enough to see. Lessons come in stages. She teaches stalk by letting easy chances pass, teaches chase with half-speed sprints that let cubs practice without breaking, teaches finish by modeling patience instead of frenzy. A cub that lives to its first birthday carries a map of survival in its bones. Where to stand on a windy morning, how to use a termite mound's shadow, when to abandon a bad angle and start over. Sight is the cheetah's super sense. It hunts by vision more than smell, reading the tiniest breaks in rhythm across a plain, ears tuned to alarm calls and hoofbeats. The nose helps, but daylight and distance are the cheetah's language. Watch the head in a sprint and you'll see another secret. It stays almost level while the spine and hips whip underneath. Stabilizing the view lets the brain track a single target, even as the body becomes a slingshot. After the sprint, engineering pays its bills. Panting isn't panic. It's heat management. Blood shunts to the surface. The tongue extends. Air moves like a river. Heart rate falls in steps. Every breath buys back clarity. Only when vision widens do jaws work in earnest, or the cat walks away if the hyenas have already set their tax. The cheetah's rivals shape its choices. Hyenas steal. Lions kill cheetahs when they can. Leopards compete for space where cover is thicker. That's why a cheetah favors open ground where speed is useful and tall grass only at the edges. Why it carries little extra weight. Why it eats fast and keeps moving. In a land of bullies, the lightest top predator must also be the smartest about risk. Look at a hunt from the prey's side to see the rest of the equation. Gazelles and impala live by scanning, weaving, and staying close to the herd. They know the cheetah sprints short. 20 to 30 seconds is typical, a minute is rare. So any dodge that burns the clock is a win. A sudden cut across a patch of uneven ground. A jink toward another animal to force the cat to pick one. A sprint to a line of thorn where hooves have better traction than paws. The chase is a conversation and the cheetah ends it by forcing a misstep. Coalitions change the math again. 2 or 3 males don't usually run down the same animal like a relay team. Oxygen debt is still real. But they do box a herd tighter, block escape lines, and share defense after a kill. One stands up first when hyenas appear. One watches the horizon while another eats. Territory held by a coalition becomes a predictable calendar. Scan, stalk, sprint, cool, feed, rest, repeat, with fewer miles wasted. Zoom out and the savanna answers. Where cheetahs move, herds tighten, fawns keep mothers in view, and the sloppy, unlucky, or sick are edited out. Predators are editors. They take out the weak sentences so the story reads clean. Remove cheetahs and everything gets louder, messier, less alive. Grass struggles under too many mouths. Balance tilts and the plain loses a rhythm you only notice when it's gone. Today, cheetahs hold on in pockets, Eastern and Southern Africa mostly, with a fragile remnant in Iran. Fences and roads cut the long corridors that speed demands. Conflict with livestock pulls them into arguments they never asked for. In some places, people are reconnecting habitat with wildlife corridors, paying ranches for living with predators, and turning a sprint into an asset through tourism. Give a cheetah space, quiet edges, and a little mercy, and it will do what it has always done, move like lightning with the mind of a chess player. So yes, the cheetah is the fastest land animal on Earth, but what makes it the fastest hunter isn't a stopwatch number. It's the patience before the sprint, the angle in the turn, the choice of which animal to chase, the wisdom to quit when the cost is too high, and the discipline to try again when the sun is right. Speed is the headline, control is the story, and on a hot, bright morning in the grass, the savanna's fastest brain wearing spots writes another ending before the dust has even settled.